Hello good people, and welcome back to another math video. This time we're going to talk about how to find the percent of a number. Alright, let's get started. First off, I want to remind us of a key word in mathematics, and that is the word of. And this almost always means multiplication. So of is going to equal multiplication. And you might remember this from back in your elementary school days. If you saw something like 3 groups of 6, that meant that we had 3 different groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 different groups of 6, and of course that equaled 18. So that of is like saying 3 times 6, which equals 18. So we need to remember that when we have of, then we are talking about multiplication. Why does this matter? Because we're talking about finding the percent of a number. So there's that of. So what we're going to be doing is basically doing some multiplication where we're finding the percent. We're going to do a simple conversion of this, but essentially we're going to do the percent times a number, and that is going to give us our answer. So what we need to do first is we're going to turn all of these percents that we use into decimals. Now you might recall from other videos that's not too hard to do. If I have something like 38%, we know that there is a little hidden decimal point here, and we're going to move that 2 spots to the left. And when we move that 2 spots to the left, we've turned 38% into a decimal, and that decimal is 38 hundredths. So one more time, let's say I had something like 4%, and I need to turn that into a decimal. I'm going to know that there is my little decimal point after the number. I have to move that 2 spots. Now in this case, there isn't 2 spots to move it. So I have to add a 0 in there before I put my decimal point. So 4% is equivalent to 4 hundredths. And again, I had to add this 0 in here because I had to move my decimal point 2 spots. So when we have a problem that says something like, find 20% of 40, remember, this of is like multiplication of 40. I'm going to take that 20% and I'm going to turn that into a decimal by moving that decimal point 2 spots to the left. So this is my new multiplication problem here, and this is 20 hundredths or 2 tenths, and I'm going to multiply that against 40, and that is 8. So 8 is 20% of the number 40. I'll do another one here. Find 65% of 90. Well, of, remember, that's a word for multiplying. There's my 90. And for 65%, I'm going to move that decimal point 2 spots to the left. Turn this into 65 hundredths, and then with a quick little multiplication, I can tell you that 65 hundredths times 90 is 58 and 5 tenths. So 65% of 90 is 58 and 5 tenths, or 58 and a half if you prefer to say it that way. Let's see, find 80% of 20. Again, that of is like multiplication. Move my decimal point 2 spots to the left, and I would have 80 hundredths. 80 hundredths times 20 is 16. So 16 is 80% of 20. Sometimes you have a number that is greater than 100% like this. This is asking us to find 250% of 4. Now mathematically we're going to go through the same process, but I just want to give you something to think about. whenever we have 100%, that's the whole thing. So like 100% of 4 would just be 4, because we're talking the whole thing. So 250%, well, this is definitely going to be more than 4, because 100% of 4 is 4. So if I had 200%, that would be like 2 100%. Well, that would be like 8. So it's going to be more than 8. So let's do a quick little erase here, and we'll do for real, kind of figure out what this actually is. To figure this out, we're going to follow our process just like before. We're going to convert this to a decimal by moving 2 spots to the left. So now this decimal is 2 50/100ths. Of is like multiplying, and our 4 stays the same. So 2.5 times 4 is 10. So 250% of 4 would be the number 10. Another time you might see these percents of a number out in the real world would be shopping, and you come across a sale. So here's an example of a shirt that's $24, but the tag says it's 20% off. And you might say, well, wow, that sounds like a heck of a deal. How much money am I actually going to be saving? What is 20% off? What is 20% of 24? Well, now you can figure this out pretty quickly, because you know this little secret. Move your decimal point 2 spots to the left. You now have 20/100ths times 24. You pull out your handy dandy calculator, and you find out that that is 4 8/10. Now that might not mean a whole lot to you, but remember, we're talking about money here because the 24 was dollars. So that means that this thing that we came up with, this is also dollars. We can always add a 0 after our last decimal place. So this does not mean the shirt is $4.80. This means that you're getting 20% off. This is the amount that comes off the cost of the shirt. It was $24, but you're going to take $4.80 off of that price. So now the shirt is $19.20 for you. Okay, we'll do one more of these. So here's a pair of pants. They're $50 originally, and they have a tag on them for 25% off. So how much is that? So you're looking to find 25% of 50. So remember, we can move our decimal point 2 spots, and this is now 25/100ths times 50, and that is going to tell you the amount that you take off the price. So you're taking off 12 5/10. But again, remember, the 50 is actually dollars. So that means that our answer is dollars too. So you're going to be taking $12.50 off the price of these pants. Okay. So that was percent of a number. Remember, turn those percents into decimals, and then it's a simple multiplication. Hope that helps. Have a great day.